Hi guys, how's it going? Today's video is going to be something a little bit different, something I've never really done before on my channel, and I really just wanted to sit down and have an open discussion just on things that I think about. Oftentimes when I'm taking my dog out for long walks, my brain just keeps going and going, and I just think of a lot of different things, and typically I'll jot them down and write them into blog posts, but I thought this would be a good one to kind of, make a video about and just have an open discussion with you and get your opinions and your takes on the topic as well. That being said, lately I have been thinking a lot about the whole influencer industry, specifically on the fashion side of things, because if you follow along with my channel, I personally love fashion and styling things up in different ways and all of that fun stuff. But lately I've just been thinking about sort of the evolution of this industry and how very different things were just a few short years ago. Obviously, as this industry has grown and grown, there's being a lot more money put into it. Brands are really experimenting with their marketing strategies. So in the past couple of years, we've really just seen all of this explode. So I wanted to bring up a couple of points in this video, and that I'd love to get your take on it in the comments below. And I just want to quickly say before we get into it, this is not directed at anyone specifically. It's more of just things I've noticed in general. Also, please don't take this as any sort of negativity, because I truly love following along with a lot of big fashion accounts and get a lot of inspiration from there as well. So yeah, this is not a negative thing whatsoever. The first point I wanted to make is that luxury fashion almost seems disposable now. I feel like there was a time not too long ago where luxury fashion was like something to aspire to have, and not a lot of people had it, and it was such a huge achievement to have a luxury bag or some luxury shoes or whatever. Nowadays, I feel like since this industry has really exploded, everyone and their mother has some sort of designer goodie in their wardrobe, and all of a sudden the appeal and the rarity of it aren't quite the same as what they used to be. This has kind of made it the norm now, and whatever the new it bag is, the new it shoes, everybody has them, and it's just like an oversaturation of every person wearing these items. And then as soon as the next new it bag or new it shoes or whatever it is come into play, it's like all of a sudden we're forgetting about the old and it's on to the new, and it's more of like a quick rotation of these items. Whereas to me, luxury fashion should be something that will stand the test of time and really be an investment into your wardrobe, not something that is a quick turnover and just keeping up with the Joneses kind of vibe. So the problems that I see with that is, number one, that's just not a sustainable way to go about your wardrobe when it's constantly turning things over and out with the old and in with the new. And it's also not sustainable for the average person's wallet. As we all know, luxury fashion is quite expensive. Yeah, the average person can't keep up like that, which also kind of shows that it's just unrelatable and unachievable anymore as well. So this mindset of moving on from one luxury piece to the next, to the next, to the next is something that almost makes luxury fashion more disposable and not like those holy grail goods anymore. And to me personally, that sort of makes it lose its appeal. Personally, when I'm shopping, I don't want to be wearing the same thing that everybody else is wearing. I like finding those unique pieces, which is often why I love vintage shopping and secondhand shopping. I love to find those true gems that are very unique to me and sort of more of a one-of-a-kind vibe, and that not everybody can have. I don't want to look like a clone of everybody else, but to each their own. And that's just something that I've noticed with this whole online fashion culture. So the next point I wanted to bring up is gifted versus purchased. Now, I'm sure we're all probably aware that influencers, and I keep putting influencers in quotations because I personally prefer the term content creator, but that's just the industry term. So influencers are gifted a lot of items in hopes that they will get featured, on their social channels, their blog, wherever. I personally feel very fortunate to receive gifts from some of my favorite brands, but I have noticed a lot of things in the fashion industry, like say one brand has just released a brand new handbag. All of a sudden, we're seeing so many of these top fashion influencers unboxing the exact same handbag, and they're all wearing them until the next new piece is coming out. I don't know, to me, it's like when you're gifted something like that, did you pick it out yourself, or you're just receiving it because you love the brand as a whole? Would you have purchased that product yourself on your own dime if you weren't gifted it as part of that marketing campaign? And does it truly fit your style, or are you just wearing it because it's the it thing right now and everybody else is doing the same thing and, you know, wearing the exact same thing? And I can think of a couple bags that are personally not my style whatsoever that have just exploded on social media. The pouch bags, they're not my style, but those just sort of exploded because all of these top tier influencers were rocking them and wearing them. Another bag I think that has done the same thing was the Louis Vuitton mini pochette. I think that's what it was called, with the different compartments. That was another one I know was gifted out to a lot of the top tier influencers. Once again, not a bag I don't think I would ever personally wear. You know, all of these girls are wearing this bag and showing it off, loving it, but it's like, do you really love it, or do you just love it because you were gifted it? Because now that it's not as popular anymore, I haven't really seen as many people wearing it. And don't get me wrong, I love Louis Vuitton. I love a lot of their designs, but that one was just not for me. So the same thing applies to any influencer industry in any different category. And I think you really have to like step back and analyze it for yourself and think, A, would you be using this or wearing this if nobody else was wearing it? And B, would you spend your hard-earned money on that? So those are just some good questions to keep in the back of your mind. So the next point I wanted to bring up is that there is just an overall massive focus on trends. Now, obviously, I feel like this has just gotten worse and worse in the past couple of years, but now it's sort of, you know, coming back a little bit, and people are realizing just how unsustainable that is. With the explosion of the whole fashion influencer industry, I think it's just, we see, you know, what's trendy all the time, and there's less of a focus on those classic basic pieces. People are just trying to keep up with the hottest trends and out with the old, in with the new. So that is definitely not a sustainable model to follow. We all know that the fashion industry is one of the most polluting in the entire world, and I think having that mindset is just so wrong. I remember when I first started out blogging, I was definitely in that keeping up mindset, and I was trying to, you know, never wear the same outfit twice, until one day a couple years ago I just snapped. I'm like, this is insane. This is so unrealistic. You know, your everyday person wears the same things over and over again. They want to get use out of the things in their closet. They don't want to be spending $1 million on brand new things all the time. That's sort of when I started changing my content and focusing on restyling pieces and finding those basics and secondhand shopping, vintage shopping, all of that good stuff. So yeah, I personally think that true style is eternal, and trends, I mean, anyone can just throw on the hottest bag and shoes of the moment and look trendy, but having true style is something that's gonna live on forever. And the last point that I wanted to bring up is, what kind of influence is this having on the younger generations? So I want to tell you a quick little story. I want to say this was 2 summers ago. I was having lunch with my younger cousin who's 16 years old, and we were just chatting, and she mentioned how she wanted to get a pair of Gucci shoes because everybody was wearing them. She'd seen them all over Instagram, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, that hit home, because when I was 16, I was not thinking about designer goodies in my wardrobe whatsoever. I mean, I was just chilling in like Payless shoes, and I was completely happy with that. And I mean, I'd still be happy in Payless shoes. Yeah, that just completely hit home for me, because that is someone who's being influenced by what they're seeing online, and that everybody is wearing those exact same shoes, and she feels like she needs to have those shoes to keep up and to keep stylish and you know, fit in. So I just personally think about how impressionable the younger generations are. I was so impressionable at that age, especially even into my early 20s. And I think a lot of those younger kids don't realize that most of these influencers are very well established into their careers. They're in their later 20s or early 30s. You know, they're set up in life, and maybe they're able to afford a lot of these little luxuries, or maybe they were gifted these luxuries. To someone young, they don't know that. And then they start getting these unrealistic unrealistic expectations in their mind at such a young age. So I don't know, I feel like that's a sticky little subject, and I'd love to hear some of your opinions on that as well below. But yeah, those are just some of the main points that I wanted to bring up. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. These are just trends and things I've noticed and analyzed a little bit in the industry as a whole. I do see a lot of positive change moving forward as well, like a lot more focus on sustainability and restyling and all of that good stuff, which is amazing. And of course, I have a lot of that stuff on my channel as well, because I love to work with the pieces that are already in my wardrobe. Let me know if there's any other topics you'd like me to discuss also, because this was fun. And you know, we could maybe make this into a series as well. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.